Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Apologies for the groggy voice. I've been ill today, so a bit tired and a bit groggy and exhausted. But anyway, I got on with the video today. Today I kind of wanted to go through what I've learned this year in terms of, I suppose, being more sustainable. For me, there's kind of this massive, I suppose, switch has happened in terms of what's happened with the pandemic, and I kind of wanted to know how can we make, I suppose, the planet better whilst in lockdown. Understand, okay, how we're doing a carbon footprint, understand with my daily actions and how they affect the environment, understand what I eat and drink, how that affects it, and just daily activities that, as much as I don't want to sacrifice marine life, but at the same time I don't want to negatively impact the planet or lives basically. So I kind of wanted to understand how I can, as basically understand a little bit more sustainably. So I know that word's been chucked about so much recently in terms of the word sustainability. I think sometimes it can be used quite generically. It can also be used as, I suppose, greenwash in terms of, oh, we, I suppose, have green sustainable practices, when actually it needs to have more definition. I think it is just one of those buzzwords. But for me, I've kind of, I suppose, taken the word sustainability as actually, okay, then living more of a greener life, making sure I use products more effectively, and also be aware of the products I use in terms of packaging, understanding how much effect it has on the environment, and looking at understanding, I suppose, the environmental impact of, I suppose, my social life. So if that's using the car, try and transport that, I suppose, you use more walking or catching the bus more, or just being a bit more cautious of what I do, rather than actually completely being a complete, I suppose, sacrificing my own life and actually making it essentially boring, if that makes sense. So I think the first thing I've learned is to, I suppose, be more aware of what kind of clothes I use. So I think that's a massive thing at the moment with clothes, in terms of, okay, then I understand that it's clothes actually create 10% of the world's carbon emissions. That's the industry that it happens. So I understand like places like H&M are being more sustainable packaging, or they're producing more sustainable clothes with 50% recycled clothing. I'm still cautious of that term, because for me, still using water, still using electric to actually remanufacture clothes. However, my stance there is actually, okay, then understand what clothes fit me. So creating a capsule wardrobe and tailoring clothes around what I need on that instance. So all I do is just basically obtain new clothes that I think fit my body shape and what makes me look good. So A, I'm not wasting as much money, and B, I'm not wasting as much clothes. So saving the planet. I think for me, in terms of the clothing, I've sort of gone for more, okay, I'm going more charity shops, because it's amazing the amount of stuff you get there. I've been to the charity shops and I've got seven items for £7. And I'm using up clothes that probably gone to landfill or even just been wasted and just rotting there. So, that's, and also for me, it's kind of, I feel good because I'm also giving back to charities rather than actually giving them to corporates and giving more money to them. So doing two good things at once. The other thing is, if I can't find the item in a charity shop, then I try and look somewhere like eBay, or just look at somewhere. So it might be secondhand, but I might be able to use once or twice, and I'm still getting a great deal for like products. So for example, I managed to get some night trainers that I'm looking for about £45 to £60 retail price. I managed to get for £15 due to somebody just wearing it twice. And they looked brand new, and they absolutely work like a dream for running. So that's absolutely brilliant. So also I think there's one thing London offers that, where I'm coming from back home, there's not a lot of, and that's swap shops. So they are free community events where you can go, bring clothes you don't wear, and swap it for clothes you do wear. So I've managed to just basically have loads more clothes for practically nothing. And you know what? Those clothes I wear quite a bit. It's interesting that I'm using more clothes and being a bit more responsible in terms of understanding what fits my body and what looks good, just tailoring up a bit more, and actually not really having to worry about buying new clothes. I'm not interested in going to like Primark or H&M or River Island now and actually getting clothes. I can actually know, okay, I've got my good clothes. If there is a staple item that I really genuinely need, then I try and look at the charity shops. That's still the only thing I would say I'm still cautious about, is like pants and, I suppose, underwear. For me, I just need to be careful in terms of where I can buy it from. So I'm looking for more good products, so more sustainably resourced underwear and swim costumes. So that's number one. Number two is I've been more aware in terms of understanding what kind of food is more sustainable. So for me, I'm vegetarian, so I can actually get away with more foods. I suppose I'm not eating meats, I'm not eating fish, I'm not adding to the carbon emissions that agriculture does, or even fisheries in terms of removing fish from the planet. So for me, I've kind of been eating more, I suppose, responsible food. I'm still, okay, guilty for having milk and cheese, but I reduced it quite a bit and tried to make my own. So with more natural based products and natural based, like with like almond milk or soy milk, just to be a bit more sustainable with what I eat and drink. I've also been having more lentils, which is a brilliant product and food product for being more sustainable in terms of it's a product that grows well in agriculture and crops. Also, it gives you a chance to experiment more. It doesn't make you sacrifice, it makes you change. Okay, then how can I eat healthier, be better for the planet, but still eat great food? So make lentil nuggets, which are amazing, and it's more better product than what chicken nuggets are. Or looking at understanding, okay, I can make mince from walnuts and mushrooms. Again, products that are really good for you, but at the same time aren't damaging the planet. Got high protein, high fiber. It fills you up for the day, and you feel satisfied, and it's great. Like, I'm eating foods that I otherwise would think, oh my god, are off limits. So for me, it's taking that chance to actually put these sort of things into practice and to be a bit more healthier. So, I mean, I could always post recipes up in terms of what I cook, just to highlight, okay, then, and also save money for food, and that's going to better costs and better savings for me. So a win-win situation for everybody, I think. So number three is, I think it's kind of a hit and miss one. So I've been understanding, again, how can I drive less and be a bit more cautious in terms of carbon footprint. So for me, I suppose it's kind of one I can't help at the moment because I'm working from home, so it's not using the car so much, so I'm saving on petrol. I'm not putting so much carbon dioxide in the air from that. Just walking a bit more, and actually it helps with being more mindfulness. So sustainability, I think, with this one sort of sums up that not only is it good for the planet, but also you get closer to nature, you can feel a bit better, you're exercising more, you're being a bit more calmer, you're sort of understanding deep thoughts in terms of actually being able to think what you want just from being more mindful with walking. So I think for me, it's kind of, this one compared to the other two is going to be one where I want to be more cautious. So I kind of want to reduce my carbon footprint even more. So might be next year purchasing a hybrid car and being a bit more understanding of, I suppose, how transport, and being a bit cautious where I travel as well. That's another thing. I haven't been traveling this year from abroad. So although working for the airline industry, I think people need to be a bit cautious in terms of saying, oh, it's bad for the planet. Compared to other industries like agriculture and clothing, airlines only produce 2%, and that's only 2%, and that can still be improved, but it's not as heavy as others, and they're more frequent. So I think sometimes people need to calm down a bit more on slating airlines as a major polluter. So that's my cautious, but still travel, but travel more responsibly. I think that's the message that KLM actually said a couple of years ago, and I totally agree with the fact that people need to be a bit more cautious. Like, okay, I want to travel to these places, but be cautious why and how it's going to affect the planet. That's my only message. So number 4, I suppose, on my list is a weird one because it's hard to explain. So I'm currently doing a user design course, which I actually love. I think it's amazing. So it's all about, I suppose, understanding user needs, creating wireframes to understand how websites work, and not websites, but how to make prototypes of products so that you can actually use it to the user and get it tested, and then evaluate progress. So it's an ongoing thing. The one thing I want to take away with you from this is actually I want to become a work for an organisation that deals with user design in sustainability, because for me that's a growing field and that feels like, I suppose, more rewarding than what I'm doing in a commercial environment. One thing I want to take away from this is, and this is what I learned in the past couple of days, is about that actually websites, although I suppose a push towards being more environmentally healthy because you're online compared to shops where you've got, people, you've got air conditioning, electricity, blah, 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 all that stuff. One thing is people don't consider data as a major, I suppose, environmental impact. Data can clog up websites, increase loading speeds and times, and just can also be really bad for the planet. The amount of CO2 it's pushing out within these servers is bad. So this is more, I suppose, tailored towards organisations than it is to the individuals, or even, I suppose, more freelancers who've got websites. Is make sure you reduce what data you produce on your website or what is contained in your website. So reducing that videos, reducing the amount of content, just make it plain and simple for the user to use, and make sure the actions are plain and simple. So see product or see what you want, put into cart, buy. Just make it as simple as possible. Don't overload it with all these cool animations and stuff. It's going to cause so much. It's going to piss off people in terms of like loading speeds, both on laptops and on mobile. But also, it's going to clog up a lot of data. More data equals more carbon emissions. So that's one thing I would say. My final point is 5 is being more cautious of electricity and being a bit more cautious of it. So for me, I've got to be honest with you, like everybody else, I do waste electricity quite a bit, or previously did. So for example, I'd leave TV on standby, I'd leave my laptop to charge. There is, okay, I suppose there's a double-edged sword here, is the fact that not only is it bad to leave it on, but also there is a massive fire risk. So I know we need to be careful of that. So for me, it's one of those things where you think, oh my gosh, there's so much wastage in terms of wasting electricity from the grid. It's not really good for the planet, and also it's going to cost a lot of bills. So for me, I've kind of been more cautious, doing a checklist and saying, okay, I need to turn off this amount for this time, or just charge up my laptop and then just use it whenever I need to, because my laptop doesn't need to be on 24/7 with sound being charged in. So for me, it's just being more cautious of understanding, okay, then how am I using my electricity, and just being more aware of how I can use it better and more effectively, so I'm not wasting so much and being better for the planet, and also saving money on my rent. So for me, that is a win-win situation, and I know that was a small, I suppose, change for me, but it's still a bigger impact. And I suppose for me, taking from these 5 points that I've shared on this video today, it's great to sort of understand, okay, so it's all about smaller changes. I think for me, there is so much impact on everyday lives in terms of you need to make the bigger change. Just make smaller changes, whether it's changing how you spend your clothes, how you food shop, and how you, I suppose, consume food, why you travel, and understand, okay, how can I make myself better. It's just make small changes and think more. It's not, I think there should be that scare of like, oh, you need to change everything. Just small changes, plan it within a habit, and then we can all make the world a bit better. Better resources, better for our children, better for the future, so we can sustain ourselves better and not just be better for the human race, but for animals, nature, and actually have, I suppose, the best planet that we can ever have. So, I'll speak to you later next week. Bye for now.